Fairy Tale: The Young and the Heart. Once upon a time there was a young and humble farmer named Juan, who lived in a distant farm where only the singing of birds and the harp that he played every day was heard to keep his chickens, dogs, goats, cows, his dog called Lobo, and to everyone who wanted to hear it. One day a severe drought broke out on the sidewalk and his heart for several months, to the point of drying the crops and endangering the animals of the farm. So the young Juan understood a threat to her half of the kingdom from Ascaria. Once he arrived in the capital city of the kingdom, he went he went to the market square to settle his animals, hoping that another farmer could take better care of them. And so it was, because a widow brought almost all her animals except the dog named Lobo. Juan was very happy to have been able to keep his faithful dog, and walked along with it through the city in search of a hotel where stay, with such bad luck that he found some thieves who stole all the money he had obtained from the sale of your animals. Juan and his loyal dog Lobo had no choice but to spend the night in the street, waiting for a person with a good heart to provide them with a roof and some food. They spent several nights without being able to eat or sleep well. The nights were getting colder and haunter. Almost finished drawing the little house of that unfortunate young man, until one day he got up to urinate, and at night and observed a box on the floor of wood. He opened his inside. There was a silver-colored harp. He took it out and began to play it as he used to do on his farm. Suddenly, the melody began to snake. So Juan got scared and stopped playing it. The next day he got up and looked around and observed that everything around it had collapsed, and thought how the heart could serve to leave his poverty behind. Then the king's emissary appeared on the street, who began to read a signed decree for death, in which they challenged any man on earth who managed to bring down his formidable wall. He would deliver the throne of the kingdom of Ascaria, and if this man could not be immediately beheaded, and his flesh would be cut to taste the king. Here, death by young Juan, he wondered if the heart would be able to tear down the enormous wall that could be seen practically from anywhere in the city, and there was the home of the Creole King Alexander, famous throughout the kingdom for killing everyone who wasn't seen to be his enemy, and they eat to his meat at some feast in his castle. People murmured in the streets about the controversial decree of the deterred King Alexander, and then the king's emissary spoke again to people with hoarse and loud voice asking, Who dares, who dares to challenge the power of King Alexander? One spit at a time, he replied, and nobody said anything, until the young one replied, I will tear down that wall, my young king, with me this kingdom. Suddenly, all the people began to applaud the young Juan and shouted him to exalt him. The widow also approached that she had vowed his animals days before to ask her help her recover the freedom of her beloved daughter, who had been forcibly captured by the king's soldiers to serve in her court as a dancer, murdering her husband while trying to prevent it. Juan promised her to help her and immediately left for the castle with huge walls open. Arriving at the site, it looked more like a little inn next to it, since the wall was more than 100 meters high. Then the king approached and his soldiers were gone to see it was able to tear down the wall and took a tour and killed it us. He was not able. Then Juan took the silver house out in his black backpack and began to play the melody with such a surprise that nothing happened. When he saw the, the soldiers took him by the arms and led him along with his dog to Castle Prison, where there was also a beautiful girl named Ilmir. She was crying, and Juan wiped her tears and promised that he would help her out of this horrible place. Then he took her again and started playing in front of the girl's incredulous gaze. Suddenly, the ground began to snake, and then the walls and the ceilings of this prison. The soldiers rushed to run towards them with their drawn swords, and Juan continued again and again playing the harp, striking without stopping, without being scared. The swords and the soldiers fell to the ground, and Juan with Esmeralda began to walk outside to the castle, always playing a beautiful melody of the harp. As the walls progressed, they collapsed, and finally the huge wall cracked down like a cookie, and he buried everything under the castle, under tombs and tombs of stones, including the cruel King Alexander, who perished more of the weight of his immortal ego than for the weight of the rocks that fell on him. Upon arriving on site, the two young men hugged each other and kissed passionately, since from the moment they first saw each other they fell in love at first sight. The days passed, and the young Juan was crowned king of Sascaria and ruled by his wife Esmeralda with justice and well-being for all his people. Thank you.